For 9.7a, we are talking about probability. I think this is one of my personal favorite units. And in probability, basically, what we're going to first start off is writing out the different probabilities and any of the probabilities. And I find the easiest way to do this is to just first write it all out and think about it in your head. So let's say we had a spinner, and the spinner has 4 colors, right? So let's just say we have a spinner, and the spinner has 4 colors, and you can have a red, you can have a blue, you can have a green, or you can have a yellow. And on top of the spinner, you have a coin, and the coin has a heads or a tail, of course, a heads or a tail. So you have one coin, so you have one coin and one spinner. And they want us to write us in set notation all the possibility that we can have with first tossing the coin and then spinning the spinner. So the coin will come first and then the spinner comes second. So if I had to write it out, I'm going to first choose heads. Well, the heads can come with, and I'll mark these as R for red, B for blue, G for green, and Y for yellow. So heads red, comma, heads blue, comma, heads green, comma, heads yellow. And then there's always the possibility of tails. So tails red, tails blue, tails green, and tails yellow. So those are all the possible outcomes that you can get from that. What if we had, let's think of another one. Let's say we had 3 dice, right? 3 6-sided dice. So that means each side has either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And each dice was rolled. And they want in our set all the possible outcomes of the sum of those 3 dice being rolled just once. Well, there's always a possibility that you have each one of them is 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's a 3. Or 1 plus 1 plus 2, that's a 4. And you get that idea. So 1 plus 1 plus 2, 3, that makes 5. 1, so then you have 6, 7, and then finally 8. So these are 1 plus 1 plus 1. What if we had 1 plus 2 plus 1, right? 1 plus 2 plus 1. Well, that gives us 4, right? Then we have 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 plus 2, well, that gives us 5. 1 plus 2 plus 3, that gives us a 6. 1 plus 2 plus 4, that gives us 7. 1 plus 2 plus 5, that gives us an 8. 1 plus 2 plus 6, that gives us 9. And we can go on so forth and so forth. So there will always be 9, 10. So we go all the way up to the highest one. So each one will have one possible answer. And we go up to the highest one, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6, which is all of them having the highest amount, which is 18. So we can have all the way up to 18. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And that is my set notation. So now from that set notation, let's say what is the probability of saying we have, if we through these 3 dice, now we can say, oh, what is the probability of getting the sum of 10? Well, there's a 10. There's only one 10. And then there's how many integers we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's 1 out of 16 chance that we will have a sum of 10 when we draw those dice. Let's do some other examples. Let's talk about coins. And they have heads or tails. So let's write out all the possible combinations. So we have a heads, 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 tails, heads, heads, tails, tails, heads, heads, tails, and a head. Let's think other combinations. Heads, tails, tails. Well, we already had that. Heads, heads, tails. Heads, tails, tails. Heads, tails, head. Then what else? We didn't start with heads. Let's do tails. We have tails, heads, heads, tails, tails, heads, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a tails, heads, tails, and then finally a tail, tails, tails. So these are all the combinations that we could possibly have with 3 coins being tossed. And let's say we want to know what is the probability of landing 2 or more tails. Well, that is we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We can reduce that to make that a half. So it is 1 out of 2 or 50% chance probability, but it's a 1 out of 2 chance that we will have 2 more heads. What if we say, what is the probability of saying only at least 1 head? Well, we can count that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a 7 out of 8 probability of having at least 1 coin landing on heads.